Welcome to History Channel's 8 o'clock news station. Shaniqua here reporting about the newly invented steamboat. This invention will change the whole outlook of industrialization. If Robert Fulton's invention really works, our whole way of transportation will change. According to calculations, the steamboat will move 4 times faster than keelboats and will be able to travel up rivers and canals. It will also promote the construction of new waterways and canals and be more efficient and economical, which will increase trade and transportation all across the country. Imagine what our country would shift into. Now, to Keisha on the Battle of the Alamo.
Keisha reporting to you live from the Alamo Mission in Texas, where 100 courageous Texans defended their land against an army of 1,500 Mexican troops. Outnumbered 15-1, the Texans fought for 13 straight days, receiving fewer than 100 reinforcements. This heroic battle was a key piece to the success of the Texans during the Texas Revolution. Not a single soldier garrisoned at the Alamo survived. All died fighting for their country and independence. Their bravery encouraged hundreds of young men to fight for and establish the Republic of Texas. The new flow of Texans joining the Army became known as the Runaway Scrape. The Runaway Scrape empowered the Texans to successfully break away from Mexico and earn their freedom. This heroic battle was a key piece to the success of the Texans during the Texas Revolution. Not a single soldier garrisoned at the Alamo survived. All died fighting for their country and independence. Their bravery encouraged hundreds of young men to fight for and establish the Republic of Texas. The new flow of Texans joining the Army became known as the Runaway Scrape. The Runaway Scrape empowered the Texans to successfully break away from Mexico and earn their freedom. These brave men who sacrificed their lives for our country will forever be remembered for their courageous actions at the Alamo. Now to Quiniqui at History Network News.
My name is Quiniqui. Just before 8 a.m. 3 days ago on December 7th, hundreds of Japanese fighter planes attacked the American naval base of Pearl Harbor at Honolulu, Hawaii. The cause of the matter is that Japan decided to solve its economic issues by trying to invade China. We banned all trade with them, hoping they would rein all expansion attempts. Pearl Harbor was undefended considering Hawaii and Japan are 4,000 miles apart. Now let's hear what one Marine present at Pearl Harbor during the event has to say. It was bombed on both sides with an 1,800-pound bomb, and she sunk to the bottom. Rows of battleships were a large target, and all of them either sunk or were damaged. They aimed mainly at the Pacific Fleet.
Leaving the breakfast table when the air defense sounded. Since I had no anti-air position, I just ignored it. Then I heard an explosion to my right. I ran to the porthole and saw a bomb hit the barge of another ship. At this point, Marines began shouting, "We were under attack."
Which the Marine was on, was bombed on both sides with an 1,800-pound bomb, and she sunk to the bottom. Rows of battleships were a large target, and all of them either sunk or were damaged. They aimed mainly at the Pacific Fleet, which luckily wasn't damaged, so we could fight back. Repairs should be relatively easy, and President Roosevelt confirmed nothing extreme like this should happen again. Iwo Jima was conquered, and we have the pictures to prove it.
While here, I'm at the scene of Iwo Jima, where Marines have been fighting for the last month to capture this port island, key with the success of the Americans under heavy fire. The Japanese soldiers were highly trained and have had many months to prepare. The Marines have slowly advanced forward up the beach of thick volcanic ash. These Marines make it to the top of Mount Suribachi and conquer the mountain, with the trek having almost no resistance, despite the accounts of newspapers. At the top, the famous photograph shows the flag raisers raising the American flag, foreshadowing the end of the battle while succeeding in a large turning point for the advantage of the Americans. The incredible flag raisers includes John Bradley, Ira Hayes, Rene Gagnon, Mike Strang, Frank Sousley, and Henry Hewson. These fighters returned from behind them through an elaborate and sophisticated network of tunnels. The island was conquered to create an emergency landing base during the war. This battle alone was awarded the most medals of honor than any other battle during World War II. Truly, these men are some of the bravest fighters we have fighting for our country. Here's Judge Breezy on the empowering "I Have a Dream" speech that is sure to change civil rights.
Breezy, and today, August 28th, 1963, I am here at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, "I Have a Dream," was made to persuade whites that all men are created equal and that African Americans should have equal rights. It all started with African Americans being treated unfairly. Separate schools, churches, buses, drinking fountains, and even bathrooms from the whites. It had got out of hand when they became unpaid slaves to the whites, and families were constantly working apart from each other. Equality was a huge thing to them, and many tried to rebel, ending up killed or in prison. King Jr. is giving his speech. It's turning the whole thing around. As you can see, many people that were at one point treated unfairly gathered here today to listen to what he has to say about equality being a huge deal. This speech has changed things. It changed the rights of African Americans and made all Americans more equal. Now to Quiniqui to present our final statements.
All right, thank you, Jabrizi. That is it for the Sunday edition of History Network's news station at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much for joining us. Up next, watch our fascinating expose on how wildfires affect the United States, featuring Kim Kardashian. Have a good morning, everyone, and we will see you next Sunday. Ethan,
Yeah, don't laugh.
Here, Ethan, you're recording, and Jonathan,
Alright, wait, let me think of something. Alright, go.
Why are you holding his eyebrows?
I'm holding his eyebrows so I can actually draw.
Dude, one's really thin and one's really thick.
Here.
Wait, let me think.
Oh my god. Wait, it's done.
Alright, done?
I'm going to darken this one.
It doesn't? Oh my gosh. Come on, Justin.
There you go.
Okay, let's go, move.
I wonder what it
Oh my
like.
gosh.
Did you film that? I'm not even moving, I'm like an alien.
Ballet classes with Kaitlyn. You're going to be constantly shifting your eyes. Should we just like one person?
You should
hold-
like
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the end squeeze the face.
Let's do one person hold all three right here.
All three?
All three. And then you just drop one.
Two.
Whiteboard.